Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to the Black Belt Leadership Podcast, where each week I'm giving you tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your own Black Belt leader within. Hey, this week I want to talk about life lessons from popular mechanics. Now, you may be thinking, what in the world would I be doing getting life lessons from popular mechanics? Well, hang with me because I think you're going to find what I have to share pretty interesting. But let me start with a little backstory. I've been a fan of Popular Mechanics for decades. And if you're not familiar with the magazine, it's a compilation of popular science and technology articles that they share with readers around the world bi-monthly, 6 issues a year. Now, the topics range widely. And if we look at the various topics you'll see in any specific issue of Popular Mechanics, you're going to see articles on aviation, automotive, electronics, military, science and space, tools, gadgets. My wife loves their DIY projects, and there's a whole lot more that shows up in Popular Mechanics. Now, interestingly enough, as I was preparing for this lesson, I did a little research and I found out something quite interesting. Since January 11th, 1902, do the math, January 11th, 1902, Popular Mechanics has been showing up in the mailboxes of enthusiasts and today has a subscription base of roughly 5.7 million subscribers. Now, that doesn't also take into account all of the folks that visit their website on a daily basis, popularmechanics.com. Now, personally, I look forward to each and every issue of the magazine I get because I find the content, for the most part, highly educational. I'm not a big fan of the DIY articles, but my wife absolutely loves them. Now, to me, I love to learn new things. And every time I get one of those magazines, I'm going to learn something new about something in the world around me maybe I didn't know every time I get a copy in the mail and I pick it up and read it. Now, as I shared, my wife loves the DIY project articles, and she's one of the few women I know who gets excited when I buy her a power tool for special occasions like Christmas and birthdays. She is my home improvement remodel queen, and she's done some incredible things around my house, inside and outside, to make this an incredible place. Now, when you got a woman that's a seamstress that does home decor by design, and she gets a chance to get into the world of carpentry and the other things as well, she absolutely loves it. But enough about that. Let me get back to the story. Now, in a recent issue, I got an inside story of aerial fighter fighters. Think about that incredible world that they live in. Individuals that fly perfectly good airplanes into a raging inferno. What are they doing? They're bombing those fires with water and chemicals to douse the flames. It was a very interesting read going back and learning the evolution of how this industry actually came to be and the technological advances that have absolutely improved the outcomes, saving tens, probably hundreds of thousands of acres of forest land, and great, incredible, amazing stories about the men and women who risked their lives to fight these fires to protect the wildlife and these incredible refuges and forests and reserves that we have all around the country. What these men and women do is absolutely amazing. And I want to say to every firefighter, aerial or otherwise, thank you for your service. Now, the September-October 2024 issue caught my eye, and there were several interesting articles in there, but one in particular caught my attention. Now, to me, it was an unusual article in a Popular Mechanics magazine, but I found it fascinating. The article was entitled Life Lessons, and the article opened with these words, and I quote, "I consider the life lessons I've learned from Popular Mechanics to be more important than the mechanical knowledge I've acquired. Both are important, but these lessons are the ones I'll take with me right to the end." Now, from there, the unnamed author shared a compilation of 8 essential life lessons that really apply to all of us. Every single man, woman, boy, or girl. These are practical lessons that every one of us can lean into, embrace, and apply in our lives. Now, that's true whether you're a fan of Popular Mechanics or not. These are genuine life lessons that actually make a lot of sense. Now, I'm guessing this unnamed author was Bill Strickland, who is listed as the chief editor of the magazine, but I could be wrong. So I'm not going to give credit where credit's due, and I'm not going to give the credit to somebody where it's not due. So I'm just going to put it this way. I'd like to build on what the author, whoever it was, penned in this article, but I want to add a little black belt perspective on each of these 8 essential life lessons. Are you ready? You got a piece of paper in case you want to write them down? Fantastic. Here we go. Number 1, get along with people. Again, these are life lessons, very practical, very applicable. Now, think about that lesson. Get along with people. You know, you and I, we are human beings, and you and I were created to be in community with other people. I like to say it this way. If you can't get along with other people, you're not going to go very far in life, and you're probably not going to experience very much success in your life either. Why? Because as good as you are at some things, you and I are not good at every single thing. We need other people in our lives, if nothing more than to help us do the things that you and I are not good at doing. We need other people. And because we need other people, we've got to learn to get along with them. We can agree to disagree without being disagreeable. Why is that important? Because if you can't get along with people, life's going to be a very lonely place for you. Now, in the world of human intelligence and human behavior, we refer to loneliness as social isolation. And if you do some research in social isolation, here's what you're going to find. It can lead to depression, anxiety, and hopelessness. It increases the risk of heart disease, stroke, obesity, diabetes, and cognitive decline. We need other people, and we need to remember we are human beings that were created to be in relationship with other human beings. We are on this earth together, living together. We need to learn to get along together. Life lesson number 1. Number 2, take criticism well. That's another important life lesson. And again, these are very practical things that we probably know, but maybe we haven't thought about in a while. Now, why is it important to take criticism well? Because nobody is perfect. I'm not, you're not, none of us are perfect. And because of that, we need to learn to be open to critique. We need to be open to listen to constructive criticism, because this is one of the ways that we learn, that we grow, and that we improve. Constructive criticism can often reveal a blind spot that you and I may have that we're not aware of. This criticism, this constructive criticism, or a critique, if we want to use that word, can also make us aware of a habit or a trait that needs to be modified, needs to be corrected, or needs to be replaced. I mean, maybe you're a speaker, but when you stand on stage, you're constantly tapping your right foot. Or when you're having a conversation, maybe you're not aware that you're saying am and you're stuttering. Those things brought to your attention can help you do what you do better. And that's the importance of having a critique or a constructive criticism, is to use that as a learning opportunity to figure out what we're not doing as good as we could be doing. So we've got an opportunity to work on it. Now, anytime criticism is given, it's a time for reflection. And anytime somebody does a critique or gives you some constructive criticism, you need to pause and you need to think for a moment and ask yourself, and maybe those that you trust, is what this person's saying about me true? Is what they are observing valid? How do I need to respond to this if it is indeed true or valid? Now, it's important to remember that everybody has an opinion, and most everybody is very quick to share their own opinion. So we want to weigh the value of any critique, any criticism that we receive, because we want to evaluate whether or not it is actually valid. Is it true? Is it a one-off comment from somebody that saw something nobody else noticed, and it's really not something we need to pay attention to? Those are the things that we need to weigh. But if we hear the same critique over and over, or that critique comes from somebody that we really value and trust, then at that point, we need to consider whether or not we need to respond and how we respond to that criticism. Now, let me pause before I go into number 3, and let me also add this. There is a difference between constructive criticism and verbal abuse. Now, I'm all for a critique and constructive criticism, but I am fully against verbal abuse. Nobody, not a single person deserves to be devalued, deserves to be embarrassed, harassed, or bullied, either verbally or physically. And if the criticism isn't constructive, see it for what it is. It is typically a weak, immature person crying out for help or attention or trying to make someone feel bad so they can feel better for the moment. Now, let's move on to number 3 in these life lessons from Popular Mechanics. Take a long view. Now, why is it important to take a long view? Because success isn't easy. If you want to be successful and you want to lead people for the long term, understand this. It's going to take time and it's going to take work to achieve success and significance. It's going to take time and it's going to take work to get people to see you as a leader they want to follow. Remember, and I talk about it in my book, Black Belt Secrets of Success, successful people do daily what unsuccessful people do sometimes or not at all. So when you see somebody that is a quote overnight success, what you don't see are the years and sometimes decades of preparation that got them to this moment where their life can be celebrated for something they've achieved. Now, black belt leaders are patient in the process, understanding, as my mentor, Dr. John Maxwell, says so aptly, leaders develop daily, not in a day. Now, Augmendino, one of my favorite writers, said it well. I will persist until I succeed. Persistence gives us a reminder that there is time and there is effort involved to get from where you are to where you want to be and to achieve success. Because the road to success is paved with sacrifice, it's paved with persistence, and it's paved with dedication. Now, life lesson number 4, stay humble. Now, this one is a big one to me because when you're really, really good at who you are and what you do, you don't have to brag about who you are and what you do, and you don't have to gloat about your accomplishments. Your accomplishments speak for themselves. Who you are speaks for itself. But if you're having to draw attention to you to get other people to notice you, that's ego. That's not leadership. Good leaders put themselves before other people. They are very, very quick to give credit to other people and to praise them for their role in the group achieving success. And good leaders are going to focus their energy and their effort on helping those they're leading experience more success in their own lives. Leaders are others focused. But if you're arrogant, if you're cocky, or if you're proud, you're actually diminishing your capacity to lead other people. And you may be saying, John, why is that true? Because if you're full of yourself and so full of yourself, what are you doing? When you're so full of yourself, you're failing to lead yourself well. You're so caught up in how you look or how you appear that you forget to learn and grow and mature, and that maybe you have gotten to a point, but that point is not the end all be all. And I love the words that I quote often from Ray Kroc. As long as you're green, you're growing, but once you're ripe, you start to rot. And if you're arrogant, cocky, or proud, guess what? You're ripe and you're becoming a rotten leader. Humble leaders, on the other hand, have a realistic view of themselves. They have a realistic view of their talents and their flaws, and when they make a mistake, they own it. They don't point a finger at someone else. When they mess up, they make a mistake, or they fail, they raise their hand and say, that was me. And then they pause to learn the lesson, apply the lesson, and move forward. Now, life lesson number 5, work hard. Again, very simple, very practical life lessons from Popular Mechanics. Number 5, work hard. Now, there's an old proverb that says the diligent man or the diligent woman will prosper. Now, think about that for a moment. Being diligent, what does that mean? Black belt leaders are willing to put forth the sustained effort required. That's what we're talking about by diligence. The sustained effort required to achieve a goal or to reach an objective at some point in the future. You know, society as a whole prospers when the people in the society dedicate themselves to working diligently to accomplish a desired outcome. not just for themselves, but for the community as a whole. Working hard is doing what is required and then doing just a little bit more. Now, what is required for hard work? Perseverance, discipline, and focus. Hard work demands that you and I are very intentional about how we manage our time, how we manage the tools and resources that we have available to us to make sure we're getting the maximum value from the effort that we are expending given the allotted time we have each day to work on a task, a project, a goal, or an objective. Now, this is true whether you and I are working alone or whether we're working in collaboration with other people. It is important that we work hard. Now, number 6, relax well. I love it because it follows working hard. Because when you work hard, you have the opportunity to pause, celebrate your success that you've achieved goals and objectives, and move the ball forward that day. But black belt leaders also understand the importance of rest. Now, hard work is tenuous. It demands that we are physically, mentally, and emotionally engaged in the task at hand. Hard work can be engaging, and if you're doing what you love, you can do it all day long, but it's also stressful and taxing. I recently spoke at a conference in Salt Lake City, and I had an opportunity to do three specific training sessions, one Q&A, and a keynote speech. I was energized all day long because I was doing what I love to do, but at the end of the day, after the event was over, I could tell that I was fatigued. All of that hard work, all of that effort had taxed me physically, mentally, and emotionally. I had been working. It was good stress, but it was stress nonetheless. And I could tell I needed a break. So I had an opportunity to relax well, knowing I had done what I needed to do that day. Now, when we go and we look medically at relaxing well, there's some incredible benefits to that. Number one, it gives our bodies, our minds, and our emotions a respite from the hard work that we've been doing, and it gives us an opportunity to rest and reset. Now, relaxing not only relieves stress, it slows our heart rate and it lowers our blood pressure. Both of those are good things. But there's other benefits of relaxation we may not be aware of. It improves our concentration, it helps us strengthen our memory, and it improves our decision making. Relaxation is also incredibly good for our digestion. And if we've got great gut health, we've got great brain health. There's a significant amount of new studies showing the connection between our brain and our gut. So relaxation not only helps the mind, it helps the gut, and it boosts our immune system, which helps protect us from disease. Now, lastly, when we're talking about relaxing well is a great way to reduce the risk of depression, anxiety, or obesity. Now, number 7, find a mentor. I love this one because this is something that I talk about a lot in Black Belt Leadership 101. I talk about it in Black Belt Secrets of Success and several of the books I've written, and it's a common theme in many of the podcasts that I share and many of the articles that I write in my newsletter that I put out each week. Finding a mentor is important because a mentor is someone who is farther along the path than you are, and they are willing to share his or her collective wisdom, knowledge, and insight with you. A mentor's role is very, very simple. The role of a mentor is to help lead you from where you are right now to where you want to be in the shortest amount of time possible. A mentor possesses expertise and experience you don't yet possess or you haven't fully mastered, and they're willing to share that expertise and that experience with you and help you implement that into your life. Now, a mentor can help you with a number of different areas of your life: personal development, career development, or those mentors can make introductions through networking relationships they possess. Think about it this way. A mentor often knows the very people that you need to know to get you from where you are to where you want to be, but that only happens when you earn their trust and their confidence over time. You've got to remain open to learning and diligent in applying what that mentor is imparting to you. Remember, a mentor can take you farther and they can get you there faster, and they are essential for your long-term success. Now, as we wrap up, let me give you the 8th life lesson from Popular Mechanics and it's this: it's about you. Now, I had to do a retake when I saw that last life lesson when I was reading the article because the title can be conceiving, but the author of the article said it well. It's not about me, it's about you. Now, this life lesson, lesson number 8 from Popular Mechanics, is really a return to the first life lesson, and that's getting along with other people. Because as a leader, you are called to inspire and empower those who are following you to learn to lead themselves well, make good choices, and celebrate the wins that happen as a result of them leading themselves well and making the good choices that lead to great outcomes. Understand this as a black belt leader. Leadership is replication. Leadership is about preparing those who are going to one day take your place so that they can have a greater opportunity for success and a greater measure of success than you've experienced. Why? Because you're adding your collective wisdom, insight, experience, and expertise to the things they're learning. So you expect them to take what you've done and make it bigger and better when they step into your shoes. Black belt leaders help those that they're leading to discover, develop, and deploy their own black belt leader within. That's an essential element that I teach here at Black Belt Leadership. Remember, we are teaching and training those who are following us to learn to live their lives with black belt excellence as a black belt leader in life. Now, black belt leaders are committed to helping other people get more of what they want out of life. Going back to the old comment of Zig Ziglar, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Black belt leaders are committed to be others focused and helping other people achieve success, and in doing that, get more of what they want out of life. Now, why do we do that? Because we want to see them be successful, but we also understand the law of reciprocation. Because if we help other people get what they want, they in turn are more willing to help us get more of what we want from life as a way of saying thank you for helping them achieve success. Now, my role as the black belt leader is to make it all about you in these lessons I write and I share through these podcasts every single week. I know that you've got many, many choices when it comes to who you choose to listen to, who you choose to read, and who you choose to learn from. And I want you to know I don't take that lightly. So I want to say thank you for subscribing to my newsletter. Those of you that do that, either through LinkedIn or Substack. Those of you that listen to my podcast on Spotify, on YouTube, on Rumble, and all the other podcast channels this podcast appears on. And I want to thank those of you who follow me on my social media channels, where each day, Monday through Friday, I'm sharing some insight, some tips, some resource to help lift you up, inspire, challenge, or encourage you to become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your own black belt leader within. I want to say thank you to those of you that have bought my books and are continuing to buy my books. You're taking my online courses. And I want to thank those of you who show up to hear me when I speak in person or online. I want to say thank you to those of you that comment on my posts and email me with your thoughts and your insights. I value those comments and I appreciate them a lot. I do what I do because of you. And I want to say thank you for the privilege and the opportunity of being able to speak into your life as a mentor, as a coach, and as the black belt leader. And I want to say thank you for sharing my content so I can impact the lives of people who are important to you. So let me close this lesson by saying a big thank you to Popular Mechanics for what they've been doing well since 1902. You know, that is a long, long time to stay relevant in a world that's ever changing. But somehow they find a way to do it with every single issue. So, Popular Mechanics, keep up the good work, and thank you for sharing your wisdom, your insight, and your knowledge with the world. Oh, and one last thing. If you're not a subscriber to Popular Mechanics, think about becoming one. Or if nothing else, visit their website at popularmechanics.com. I don't get paid for that. It's just something I found of value. And if you, like me, love learning about the world around you, it's a great resource to check out. It's a fascinating read 6 times a year, as well as the content they post online. So there it is, 8 life lessons from popular mechanics with a black belt leadership spin. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.